G'day, welcome to another episode of Country Life on the Coast. My name is Sean, and on today's episode we're going to replace these taps with a mixer. The very first thing to do is turn off the mains water, which I've already done, and so no water's coming through. And now what we're going to do is start disconnecting the attachment to the tap. This is our cold water line, and way over the back there is the hot water line. It's just like a nut up here that we can undo, and hopefully that will come off, and then take the top and then we can take the tap out from the top. So we'll get some spanners onto this and start undoing, and hopefully it'll all come undone easy enough. Alright, so I have a bucket here to catch some water in case, well, I suspect there'll still be some water in the line, even though I have turned on a couple of taps. And this one up here is not tight at all. I did just loosen it off camera, but it wasn't tight at all, which was surprising but good. Now, there's a plastic nut that holds this on that I need to try and undo very carefully without breaking, just in the off chance that something goes wrong today and I have to pull this back. There we go, and that just comes off. So that's just been screwed on underneath and sort of locks it in. So that's good. So this is what it looks like from top. And typically, like nowadays, if you buy something new, it's a round circle where your fittings go in. Obviously this is very old, and back in the day they used to do square ones for some strange reason. What I've been told is the opening of new ones nowadays is 35mm. So if we just measure that on the square, side to side, we're about 30, close to 35mm. So our fitting might be pretty close. If you've never played with a mixer before, which I haven't really, had a bit of a look at them before, but not a plumber, just talk to people and learn how to do things. Have a go. So what we have is, so I came with this brass threaded rod. It screws in there, and that's what's going to actually clamp it down. And then the other two holes are your obviously hot and cold water. And it shows on the front here red and blue, hot and cold. So it comes in with a couple of hoses. Obviously red, hot, blue, cold, so they're all marked on here. So it's pretty foolproof, which is why I'm happy enough to do it. And on new ones, new installations where there's the round hole, they'll definitely always screw these on and then just feed them down. It's a lot easier. On this one, I was wondering whether I was going to be able to fit in, but I'm pretty confident there's enough space here to make these ends both tuck down and through. So I'm going to nip these up. Sit the washer on here. Yeah, nip these up and feed them through, and then it's just a matter of attaching the hoses to them. Feed one in, juggle the other one in, and they all fit, and that's going to sit like that. And because this rotates, that will work out fine, and hot to cold will work out fine. I might actually put that there. So it comes with this setup to clamp it up, So we'll put those on, and then has a nut on it. So we'll do that up tight now, and then we can look at making the fittings off. Just to show you from up underneath, this is the nut we just had to screw up. See, this is the hot and the cold pipes coming down that I now need to reconnect. So the mixer is now installed on that. I just need to connect the water lines up and we're right to go. So now I'm going to connect the cold water up, and what I could do is undo this and try and make sure I've got enough length to play around with this to get it. Or the other option, which when I was buying my parts, the plumbing guys actually recommended to take this piece. It's just a joiner. So what I can do is actually just screw this on one here and join it up here, and it basically just extends that. And then I'll probably like zippy tie it up there a bit more so you can't really see, just put a loop in it, and that way you won't really see it up there. And that way I don't have to touch the copper pipe down here and that connection at all. And basically just try and make it as easy as possible for myself. It does put another joiner in it, but there's good rubber seals in each of these, so you don't need thread tape or anything on these either. So I think that's where I'm going to go. It'll make my life a bit easier, and I'm always into trying to find the best and easiest way of doing things. There we go, that should be all that needs. Like I said, I'll do something cool and tuck that up there somehow a bit later. So now what we're going to do is do the hot one, and because it has a copper pipe all the way up there, what we're going to have to do is undo the copper pipe at the top, cut it a bit, and then I've got a fitting here that will join and seal the copper pipe onto it, and then I can fit this one onto here. And the first thing I'll do is undo this copper pipe and cut it off a bit. So there's a trick to remember, always turn the hot water one on as well if you're going to open the hot water tap, if you're going to undo hot water line. That would have been bad. Alright, so I've got the pipe undone, which is about the best I can do. Pull it down a fraction, I suppose. And now to cut it, if you're ever going to cut copper pipe, you need to get a little tool like this. What it does is your pipe sits in the middle here, and you slowly wind this in and just rotate and just keep winding, and it does a beautiful cut, a really nice smooth cut. And then I use it on copper pipe and other bits of pipe as well if I want to get a nice smooth cut. And for copper pipes for plumbing and that, you do need a really smooth cut, and that way then when you put the fittings on it as well, it'll all seal properly. A little bit hard to see, but that's sort of the cut it gives. Quite a nice smooth one. Alright, well what I might do is go and turn the water back on, check for leaks, and then we'll remove this hot water one and put a cap on it. So I've just turned the water back on, and I came up and there's no water leaks, which is really good. Just sort of checking that it's not damp at all, which feels good, and we have running water. So, yep, we have cold, and we have hot, and you know what? We even have warm water, and we've never been able to get warm water out of here because we've had separate hot and cold. My wife is going to be so happy. She's wanted this for a fair while, and I kept putting it off, but think for about $100 this has cost me to do. I should have done it ages ago. Anyway, we've done that now. So what we'll do is we'll pull this hot water one off, which will be exactly the same as the cold water. I've just got to undo that cap at the bottom and that should come straight off. So hopefully that comes out just as easy as everything else has gone together with this morning. This is what I'm undoing, and I finally got it undone, but man, it's taken a little while, just in the fact that there's no access to it, and I didn't want to really cut it out or totally destroy everything. Not that I'm using it again or anything, but still, just try and do it properly. But we got him undone, which is good. Alright, so we got the cap off. We'll pull this one out. Probably go to the bin or something, I reckon. So we're left with this hole from the old tap, obviously. And so what you can buy is a plug for it. It sits in over the top and screws in from underneath. So we'll cut this open, get into it, and install it. So this is what it is. Just undo the wing nut. So that's it. It has this rubber seal, and so that was just sort of stuck on the seal. I was able to get that off easy as. So now the rubber seal, it goes down and it stays on top here because we obviously want to stop water. Any water that gets splashed on the basin there, we don't want it to go down the hole as well. So the rubber seal on top. And then we just put the clamp on and the wing nut on and make sure that this is sitting in a spot that covers the hole the best we possibly can, hopefully all of the hole. Tighten him up. So that is our mixer installation. A very simple job really. Like I said earlier, I should have done it ages ago. But I'm glad it's done now, and so we can get warm water here in the hand basin. But that's all we've got for in this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be awesome. And we'll catch you next time. God bless.